Hi everyone, welcome to Azure Function App tutorial. I am RJ Das. In this video, we will learn about Azure Function App, how to create one and deploy a function to the function app using Node.js from VS Code. Now, let's go into the content. What is Azure Function App? It's a serverless solution that allows us to write less code, maintain less infrastructure, and save on costs. Serverless solution or framework means we do not need to provision a physical server. The code can be written in the below languages such as Java, Node.js, Python, .NET, and so on. It provides updated infrastructure and resources needed to run our applications. So here, provides updated infrastructure means it could be the latest runtime stack and the OS to run our code. Next, focus on the code and not on infrastructure. So, as the infrastructure is provided, we do not need to worry about maintaining server, but concentrate on only the business functionality or logic to be implemented in the code. One of the most important aspects to be considered when implementing function app is the hosting plan, because the features and benefits differ based on the hosting plan. Below are the sum of the features of the hosting plan. Function app scaling. It means the function app will scale automatically based on the load. Next, Azure VNet integration. So, this allows the function app to access the Azure resources in the Azure cloud from the virtual network. Next, it has the support for Linux containers. Then, it has also impact on the costs. Below are the available plans. We have the consumption plan, flex consumption plan, premium plan, dedicated plan, and container apps plan. Among these plans, the consumption and flex consumption plan have less features, while the other plans have more features and benefits. Next, the prerequisites for this tutorial. So for this tutorial, you need to have the below setup completed beforehand. First, you need to have an Azure account. So if you do not have one, please create a free Azure account. Next, Visual Studio Code installed. That is, you need to have Visual Studio VS Code installed in your computer. Then, you need to sign into Azure Cloud from your VS Code. Then, you need to have the Azure Functions extension feature installed or tool installed in your VS Code. So, this tool has various functionalities to work with the Azure Function app. Next, you need to have the Azure Functions Core Tools installed. So, this tool is to develop, run and debug your functions on the local computer. Now, let's go to VS Code and complete the prerequisites. Once the VS Code is launched, you can see the Azure icon on the left side. Through this, we can sign into Azure Cloud and have access to the resources from VS Code. Now, let's move on. So now, click this sign into Azure and by clicking this allow button, you will be redirected to the Azure portal for the sign in process. Please complete the sign in process and come back to VS Code. Once the sign in process is successful, you will see the subscription and the Azure resources displayed here. Now, let's see the Azure extension installation process. So we need to add the Azure Functions extension and Azure Functions Core Tools extension. So here, click this extension icon and type Azure Functions. So click this and go for the installation process and complete it. Next, for installing the Azure Function Core Tools, there are two ways. One is you can use the Windows installer MSI. I have given the link in the description. You can use it to install, or you can install the Azure Functions Core Tools from the command palette. So that is press F1 key, which will bring the command palette. Here type Azure Functions install or update. Colon install. So here this will pop up here, Azure Functions install or update Azure Function Core Tools and complete the installation process. So I have already installed in my computer, so which is not required. Now let's see the steps to create and deploy the function app from the VS Code. Now let's see the steps to create and deploy Azure Function App from VS Code. So first we need to create the Azure Function project in the local machine using Azure Functions create new project. So this will set up the project folder and the Node.js function that we will deploy into the Azure cloud later. Once this process is completed, we need to create an Azure Function app in Azure cloud from VS Code using this below command. Next, we need to deploy the Azure function that we created in this step to the Azure Function app that is created in this step. So now let's move on to the VS Code to implement these steps. So I am now in the Visual Studio Code. Now as a first step, let us create the Azure function project and the Node.js function in the local machine. So for this, press F1 to bring the command palette and type Azure Functions create new project. So if you see, it has already popped up here. So you can select this Azure Functions create new project. So select your project folder. So once you select the project folder, it will ask for the language in which you want to create your Azure function. So I will select here JavaScript. Then the model to be used, select model v4. Then the type of function app you want. So here I will select the HTTP trigger template because I want to use the REST API to call this function. So here give the function name. And press enter. Then click open current window. So this will be creating the new project and the function. So once it is created, you can see here the Node.js function that has been the JavaScript function that has been created here. So here you have in this function you have the response. So this response will be returned when we call using the HTTP URL. So as a first step, we have created the Azure function project here. Next, we will move on to creating the Azure function app in the cloud. So for this, again press F1 to bring the command palette. Then type Azure Functions create function app in Azure. Functions colon. So here you can see Azure Functions create function app in Azure Advanced. So there is a two things. One is you can create function app in Azure, create function app in Azure Advanced. So the difference between these two is when you click this create function app in Azure Advanced, you will have the various options to choose. For example, the resource group, the hosting plan, the pricing model, and so on. So I will select this one. Then it's asking for the function app name. So input your function app name. Then press enter. So it's asking for the hosting plan. So select consumption to avoid unnecessary costs. Then the region you want to create. So I am choosing here. Then the language you want. So here I will choose Node.js 20 LTS as the my language. Then the OS. So I am choosing Linux. Then the resource group in which you want to create your function app. So I am selecting mine. And here one more thing to be noted is, so whenever a function app is created, we need to specify a storage account. So here if you have already an existing storage account, it will be listed here. You can select a one, or you can select this create new storage account, which will create a new storage account in the portal. So here I leave the default name as it is. So next you need to enter the application insights, whether you want to application insights or not. So I don't need, so I will click skip for now. Now if you see, so the function app is being created in the Azure cloud. Once this step is completed, let's wait for some time. This will create the Azure function in the Azure portal. I will pause my video and come back once the function is created. Once the function app creation in Azure cloud is successful, you will see this message. Now let's go into the Azure portal and check if the Azure function app creation is successful or not. So I have logged into my Azure account. I will go to the function app and see. Okay, you can see that the function app which we created in Node.js is reflected here. Click on this and you can see the details of the function app. Now we need to add or deploy the function which we have created locally to this function app. Let's go into VS Code and deploy the function which we have created in the local machine. Deploy the function to the Azure function app that we have created in the Azure cloud. So for this, press F1 and bring the command palette and type Azure functions deploy to function app. So here you can see deploy to function app. So click this one. Then it will bring you the functions available function app in your subscription. Select this. Then you will see this message. Click deploy and it will start deploying to your function app. Let me pause this video and come back once the deployment is completed. Once the function deployment is completed, you will see this message. Now let's go into the Azure portal and see if the function deployment is successful or not. I have signed in to the Azure portal. So go to the function app service, select the function app, and you can see here function is being deployed in the function app. So click this one. Then you will see the function code and click this get function URL and check whether your function is deployed properly and working or not. So select the URL and copy and paste in the address bar. Then you can check whether your function is working or not. So you can see that the function is working properly. So we have seen how to create and deploy the function app from VS Code. Now let's do the cleanup of the resources to avoid unnecessary costs. So let's go to the function app service and select the function app, click delete. So type delete here. Delete. So this will take a few seconds to delete the function app resource. Now go to the storage account and delete the storage account which was created for the function app. So this is the storage account that was created. Select this one and click delete. So click delete, and this also will take a few seconds to delete the storage account. So you can go to the home screen and click for the resource group to check whether the function app and the storage accounts are deleted or not. So here the deletion process is in progress. So you can wait for some time and check that all the related resources are deleted accordingly to avoid unnecessary costs to your account. So that's all in this video. We have learned how to create an Azure function app from VS Code and deploy a Node.js function to the function app. Thank you very much for your patience in watching this video. Thank you once again and bye.